Unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning has two types, clustering and dimensionality reduction. In clustering, we see k-means clustering and hierarchical clustering. In dimensionality reduction, we're going to see principal component analysis. Clustering. In unsupervised learning, clustering is a type of technique where algorithm groups similar data points into clusters or groups based on some inherent patterns or similarities within the data. Unlike supervised learning, where the algorithm is provided with labeled training data, clustering algorithms work with unlabeled data and attempt to discover hidden structures or relationships. K-means clustering. K-means clustering is an unsupervised machine learning algorithm used for partitioning a dataset into k distinct non-overlapping subgroups or clusters. The number of clusters denoted by k is a user-specified parameter. The algorithm assigns each data point to a cluster whose main is closest to that point. The output of k-means includes cluster assignments. Each data point is assigned to one of the k clusters based on the proximity to the cluster's centroid. Second thing is centroids. The mean vectors are representing the center of each cluster. And the third thing is within cluster sum of squares, a measure of the compactness of clusters. Lower WCSS indicates better defined clusters. So this is how a k-means clustering works. So as you can see, the after k-means, the data points are concentrated towards two clusters, whereas with which we can conclude that there are two groups of data or two categories of data after using the algorithm. Hierarchical clustering. Hierarchical clustering is an unsupervised machine learning algorithm that groups similar data points into nested clusters or tree-like structure. It doesn't require specifying the number of clusters beforehand. Hierarchical clustering is of two main types, agglomerative and divisive. Agglomerative hierarchical clustering. It starts with each data point as a separate cluster and iteratively merges the closest clusters until only one cluster remains. And divisive hierarchical clustering starts with all data points in a single cluster and recursively splits the clusters until each data point from a separate cluster. The output of hierarchical clustering includes dendrogram, a tree-like diagram illustrating the merging or splitting of clusters. The vertical axis represents the distance at which clusters are merged or split. And then cluster assignments, the final clusters obtained by cutting the dendrogram at a specific height or depth.